What screams I'm bad with money? Impulse spending, while complaining about being broke all the time. I know someone that paid to get their used red Nissan Sentra wrapped in blue. They are unemployed. Using credit to buy luxury items, then paying the minimum due, accumulating interest. I work on cars for a living, and the vast majority of the BMWs that come into my shop have slick tires and lights blinking on their dash. So many of these people can barely afford a luxury car, let alone the maintenance required to keep them nice and running. I had a buddy in college who would go through a cycle of bragging about how much money he had, spend it all on dumb stuff, then brag about how poor he was. All while bragging how he was a rich kid. The best part was when he was bragging about having some money to this girl he liked. Turns out that girl came from an actually wealthy family. She said, "It's only $5,000, why do you keep mentioning it? Is that a lot to you?" That event shut him up for a bit. Lol. Showing off expensive purchases on social media when they can't afford basic necessities. Buying lottery tickets regularly as a serious plan to improve their financial situation. Never reading the financial terms and conditions but always signing up for new financial obligations. Complaining about debt while continuing to buy everything. Just got paid. Wonder what I can buy. Buying new clothes, shoes, phones, alcohol, weed, etc. before all your bills are paid. Spending $1 million inheritance in 1 year. Michael Scott already screamed it. As someone who is formerly bad with money, being in a cycle of being in debt and using apps to borrow money to pay towards your credit cards and to have money for food. Thankfully, I'm no longer trapped in this cycle, and I never want to be in that cycle again. Constantly upgrading their tech gadgets every time a new model is released. My fragrance collection. Consistently borrowing money for daily expenses until the next payday. Taking out a loan for a vacation because they feel entitled to a luxury trip every year. Complaining about hard financial times when you eat out almost every single day. Constantly ordering food for delivery despite living within close proximity of a grocery store. Especially when you are not financially secure enough to be doing that in the first place. My nowadays $12 McDonald's order is like $30 through DoorDash. If you that desperate for some McDonald's, just walk, bro. You make $200K a year living in Mississippi but are living paycheck to paycheck. A bunch of monthly subscriptions that you have no idea what are for. Can't afford to feed your kids and has to go to a food bank but smokes, drinks and get tattoos. Money for tattoos, but not enough for your kids' clothes or groceries. The Pentagon not being able to find $2.3 trillion in assets. Driving around a used Italian sports car that sounds or looks like it needs service. Buying a huge house but then struggling to afford the basic utilities and upkeep. I'll be the first here to scream I am bad with money. Claiming they can't save money, yet they won't stop impulse shopping. Financing a Charger. Being almost 40 and using your tax return to put rims on your shitbox. Constantly talking about the stock market or a new investment without understanding the basic principles of investing. Designer everything when you know they are not well off. My ex-wife. Before divorce we filed bankruptcy. 80% of the debt was in her name. Divorced over other reasons but money was part of it. Left her the house but she could not keep up with bills, instead of selling had to be foreclosed on. She met a guy and they moved on a rented house. He maintained bills and wasn't a bad guy. I even met a few times. They broke up and again she was evicted for not paying rent and bills. Now she lives with her sister and the kids I was paying child support for now live with me. 3 years living with her sister and she still can't afford to move out. Renting expensive cars or using limo services for nights out instead of more economical options. People who put pictures of money around their house, saying that money will manifest into their lives. I met a whole group of these people through my ex-wife once, and not a single one of them has a consistent or successful work history. If you're holding on to cash rather than paying down debt, compounding interest is a killer. Constantly asking money from friends and or family members. Always having a new business venture that requires borrowing money from friends and family. A stack of Amazon boxes when I get home. Well, I needed a pink mouse pad and matching keyboard. Me at the bar at 2 a.m. weekly. Carrying multiple credit cards that are maxed out but still shopping for non-essentials. Bragging about not knowing how much anything costs because they don't keep track of their spending. Attending every single big concert or event, regardless of their bank account status. Spending lots of money on gacha or mobile games. Credit card debt. Intentionally having kids you can't afford. Tons of tattoos, can't afford rent. Talking about payday. If the day that 2 weeks of wages hits your bank account changes your spending habits, you're in trouble. Living paycheck to paycheck and eat ordering out. If you barely have enough money at the end of the month, you shouldn't be doing that. It sucks. I think wages need to go up, but it is what it is. My bank account. Being a member of our Wall Street Bits. $800 month car payment. Always transferring credit card balances to new cards to avoid paying. Ignoring bills until they get a final notice or their services are cut off. Having a stable job but no savings accounts. Ignoring their student loans, hoping they will somehow disappear. Having a gym membership or club subscriptions they hardly ever use. Never paying people back. Buying name brand everything, even if comparable generics are available for much less. Gets nails done. Hey, can I borrow $50? I'm not going to be able to make my insurance payment tomorrow unless I can come up with it somehow. Giant SUV or luxury pickup parked in front of a rented townhouse or apartment building. During a vacation in Seattle, Darkside Phil spent as much money as possible yet complained about being poor afterwards. Shitty place to live but a $700 car note. I've found a strong correlation between habitually late people and poor money management also. Just cause I'm broke doesn't mean I don't deserve nice things. People who buy Reddit Premium. Impulse buying and never checking the price of anything. Edit. One unique case. A guy I knew in college that seemed very mentally unstable that would spend very recklessly in little things like claw machines and other things. We tell him to slow down and he always replies, "It's okay, my parents are rich," and from what I know his parents weren't.